Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. If you're joining us from YouTube, what's up? Like and comment for any feedback. If you enjoyed the show, go ahead and click that subscribe button and click bell notifications. For you guys joining here on Twitter Spaces, hello. My name is King Wabi. I am the host of Crypto World Radio, presented to you by Because Bitcoin. I'm here joined by my boy, Theo Payne. What's going on, Babel? What's going on, Nick? Shout out to our Giga Chads on our Discord from Because Bitcoin, where you can find me there on their Discord, pretty active on their voice chat and always interacting with the community. And today's episode, we're going to be going over finding gems during the crypto bear market for the next run. And yeah, what's going on, guys? Good to be here. What's going on, Payne? How are you doing today, my man?
Doing great, man. How about yourself?
I'm chilling, man. It's going to be more of a casual space today. I know our boy Bitcoin Brown was going to be here today, but he had some things come up. But he's going to be here with us on Friday's show, which is going to be a bit earlier. Then on Thursday, it's going to be a later show at about 10 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be with Neutron, and they're building out the DeFi hub on Cosmos. And that one should be pretty cool. We're gonna be able to see like a compound, or hopefully an Aave-esque platform on Cosmos. And I think those are things that I'm looking at personally. I think those have a good market fit. And I see we have our boy Sefi here. He's pretty knowledgeable in the Cosmos, so I'll bring him up as well. What's going on, Sefi? Good to have you here. Sent you an invite right now. I see our boy Emergence up here. I'll send you an invite. And also Connor, personal friend of mine. I'll invite him up to speak as well.
I'm Christmas shopping a little bit with the wife, so if you hear jingle bells or some shit, you know what's going down.
It's fine, man. It's fine, dude. Would be cool to have Anchor with us, to be honest, man. Last year was quite fun, man. So what's going on, Sefi? How are you today, man? Good to have you on here.
Good. What do you guys think of the, I guess, the overall market direction, first off?
Well, when it pertains to crypto, I just think we're in an environment similar to 2015. It's a bit more like drawn out. And when you look at the equity markets, it's as if 2022 is shaping up to set us up for a mild recession. Nothing too crazy, man. I don't really think we're going to go to these crazy numbers like 9K, 8K. Kind of the same sort of price action and sentiment as 2018, dude. It's all the same thing to me. As long as we still see development within the broader ecosystem, we're all good. We're still seeing Cosmos and, Gravity Bridge / Ameris on Cosmos function. Aave still has a pretty good PE. MakerDAO still functioning well. And
Robbie, when you say 8 to 9K, you talking about the Dow Jones?
No, dude. I'm talking about Bitcoin Cash. That's what I'm talking about, dude. It's a
Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, it's a cheaper Eastern version of BTC. Just like Kobe said, right? He found a new innovative invention. Bigger block size must equate to world-changing technology, right? Yeah, dude. BTC SV, but I don't want to trigger any of their audience. I had them on here. Well, not on here, but
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Spaces. Yeah,
those are the biggest weirdos in the space.
Yeah, dude.
If we have any of the SV types on here, we need to ban them, like now.
What's going on, Naka?
We joke about cults, but that's like I can't think of a bigger cult than the SV crowd, man. They're like
They're worse than Scientology.
Are we talking about Bitcoin SV, like Satoshi's vision?
Satoshi's vision.
Yeah. It's a cheaper, more accessible BTC that's fair to everyone's pockets. So
because it's fucking worth zero, right? It's got the same. Dude, thing is a turbo scam.
Dude, what's the market cap of that thing? I'm about to look. I'm curious.
Far too much. We bottom when the Bitcoin SV market cap is in the triple digits.
I only came up here to say that you are all wrong, and BCH and BSV are going to the fucking moon, okay? Come on, everybody. Get a good hold on your shoulders. Good head on your shoulders.
Actually,
what the hell are you talking about?
The weird thing is BSV has more potential than BCH. Because, some of these cult coins, there can be like hardcore cultists who just won't give up. Whereas BCH is kind of in that middle ground between a cult and legitimacy. And that's actually a really bad place to be.
Naka, guess the market cap. I just looked it up.
Of what? BSV?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 1.5 billion.
You're okay. It's not too off. It's 895 million.
Okay.
It's slipping quite a bit then. It's making its road to zero.
It's 46 Biden bucks right now.
You overshot.
How much? So hang on. It's 800 million. So it must be what, like $40-$50 a coin?
Yeah, it's like $46.
But honestly, like, it looks pretty good on the monthly.
Does it look good? It's a fucking turbo scam.
I did a nice little 2x last. I did like a 2 or 3x on that last year just for fucking around.
Who was it that was levered to the tits? Was it Roger Ver? Had like millions in.
It was Roger Ver. He used his. I don't think it was SV though, and if it was, but I
think it was Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, like he essentially anchored his BTC fork and then borrowed against it. But the thing is, it's like it wasn't his whole stack. Like, yeah, he got hurt, but he's not like he's not like as influential to the space as he was all those years back. So I don't really think that it impacts the market as much, but I do find it a bit odd how during late 2013 he had that segment saying, "I trust Mt. Gox with my holdings. I fully believe that they are transparent and they are fully regulated." And look at what happened. But fast forward now, same thing happened with FTX. It was branded as a bank, but lo and behold, all those tokens were pretty much paper derivatives. And I remember like a few days.
That's exactly what banks do. Banks literally.
Yeah. But I remember like 2 days before, like 2 to 3 days before the FTX US withdrawals had halted, because you had like 24 hours right after they claimed bankruptcy. And I kid you not, like we had people up on my spaces saying like, "Oh, like you're fudding. People have their net worths in FTX US. There's some anon, sweating because you're fudding the exchange." And it's like, brother, they literally haven't halted their withdrawals, and they claimed bankruptcy. Like they filed for bankruptcy, and like you're out here defending FTX US, and here we are. But that sell candle was kind of a fugazi, and it was really irresponsible for some of like these low cap tokens to have their treasuries to be market made by Alameda, when like if you want to see how good a market maker is, dude, just look at any token as far as their price action goes right as they get listed on perps, dude. Like that's your answer right there. Like, bro, look at the first quarter of the year, man. All the shit that they listed.
Dude, I'm surprised more people aren't talking about that. Like, just how so many, like, nearly all of those perps were just down only, and they never had volume to begin with. So, like, I don't know. I feel like that's such a huge scam. That
Didn't
kind of got
they?
overlooked.
Didn't they launch UST perps right before it crashed too?
Yeah,
They did.
and that was the point, dude. That was pretty much the point. But the thing is, like, Sam went delta neutral, which is like the stupidest thing to do when your goal is to get rid of something, because then you screw yourself over and you screw your LPs over and your market makers over. So he kind of burned himself down, and that's a topic for like another day. I think that should be laid to rest, especially with like the new year coming on. But you know, one thing that I'm looking at is projects that aren't really associating themselves with anything that has to do with Alameda. Like, if you guys look at Layer Zero and what they want to do with their token, um, their private funding round isn't associated that much with Alameda. It's like a small portion, dude. I think it was their Stargate token that had funding from Alameda, but I believe it doesn't have to do with the actual like layer zero ecosystem. Stargate is simply just like Synapse, like an interoperable Synapse, and who knows what's going to happen with that token, because Alameda was the biggest seed round investor for the Stargate token. So I think moving forward, a lot of projects are going to do a lot more due diligence as far as like who their market makers are going to be and who they let in, So
Did you happen to drop in on that Charles Hoskinson space like yesterday, the day before? I forget when it was.
Was it with Wob?
Yeah, it was with one of like the all grand influencers, and
yeah,
like he's cool and all, dude. Um, it just happens to be he pops in at the wrong times, dude. Always at the wrong times.
So the takeaway message from the Hoskinson space was buy Celestia. Did you hear that? The guys were like, one of the guys was like, he was talking about his projects and this and that and the other thing, and he was like, yeah, what do you have, what solutions do you have for data availability and execution layer separation, blah blah blah. And then Charles was like, well, there's Celestia. And so it's like, okay, that's kind of the endorsement to buy Celestia and not worry about Cardano, I guess.
That's pretty badass. Celestia is a good project because there's so many that are like launching at these extreme evaluations, and I think Celestia is going to be like at least probably like 400 or like 400-ish mil when it launches. And because like stuff like Aptos and shit, that the upside is so capped when it launches at like 3 billion or 2 billion, It's like, what the hell, dude?
I mean, Aptos is just a scam, right? Like, they're literally, it's some people from the fucking, I think they're Solana people, and they're from fucking Meta, aren't they? They're from the Facebook crypto, right? They were working on that. That got banned. And then they were like, oh, let's like release a shitcoin. And they even gave it a nice shitcoin name. They called it
Craptos.
They call it Craptos. And it's literally like, it's just down only. Like, and here's the thing, right? It's just launched recently. Did anyone hear about it in the last week?
So like, dude, they like with these newer projects, they need to find a market fit, right? And
the market fit for Craptos is literally just fertilizing farmers' fields.
Yeah, they don't need to find market fit. When you're launching a fucking 500 million market cap, you don't need a market fit because you bought a fucking 10 mil market cap with your fucking, like, that's why they launch so high after the VCs get in, is because it doesn't matter where retail gets in at. You just bought their bags for a 500x already. Like, it doesn't, like, there's no market fit needed anymore. It's why you see all these like low deal flow VCs that help partner with these projects that like don't go anywhere. None of them launch under 50 mil market cap. It's because if you launch at a high market cap, you auto dump on anyone who buys on launch day. You're already up horrendous.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a total scam. And like, I don't think Aptos actually has any legitimate use, right? Like it's basically Aptos is probably the last alt L1 that will ever launch. Well, maybe there'll be one or two more, but like it's the last one that anyone's ever going to hear about. I don't think there are going to be any more alt L1s. That's it.
I mean, I think there will always be like alternative movers, but yeah, like launching that late in the game and having like, what was it, 4 transactions per second or something, which is like infinitely even slower than Bitcoin, is like, these people are like mentally blasted. Like, how did you even like raise this much money on 4 transactions per second in 2022? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Well, they fucking scammed their VCs as well.
I think the only
and then it doesn't have the DD to know that 4 transactions per second is like a quarter of Bitcoin speed. Like I don't understand how you're giving out enough money to fund Aptos at hundreds of millions of dollars of valuation, but you don't understand 4 transactions is dead on arrival. I don't.
But I don't think it's even the TPS that's the problem. I think the problem that alt L1s have, and the reason I'm super
Naka, they all copied Neo. That's the original L1. It's Neo, it's ICX. They were all branded as ETH layer 1 killers, and like underneath that infrastructure, it was essentially like a base layer for interoperability. And what happened to those tokens right when the bear market hit? They all went to fucking zero. And tokens like Solana, dude, the Solana sale was in March of 2018. Like hypothetically, it could have launched in 2018, but they're like, no, fuck it. Let's have like more private rounds and launch at an extremity when the music comes back on. And what happened? Like early 2020, everyone thought the music was coming back on, and then we had that fucking COVID nuke. And then Alameda came in with their magic paper and got like, what was it, like 15% of the total supply, and became like their head So even what's that other one? I think AVAX had their round like in the later parts of the bear market as well, and they really extended the release, man. So like the layer 1 quote unquote narrative, like, dude, that shit is just like late 2017 pushed forward. And
yeah, but I think the fundamental problem with it, on the real hardcore fundamental side, is if you have 2 different L1s, like say AVAX and Sol, if you have an asset that's on one of them and you want to send it to the other one, right, you can't do that in a trustless way, right? Whereas if you have 2 L2s, like Arbitrum and Optimism, you can trustlessly move assets between them. So there's nobody can rug you. There's no bridge hacks. There's none of that. It's all only based on security of Ethereum, which is the biggest smart contract blockchain. And the thing is, once you have these ecosystems where it's fully trustless within one of these worlds, you're not going to want to leave it, right?
So Naka, so what you're describing is essentially like, wouldn't that be
layer 0?
Yeah, layer 0, dude. Unified liquidity, and basically the whole like omni-chain interoperability protocol that is basically like the true definition of cross-app, cross-chain transactions. And they've been in the works for a number of years now. And like, dude, I don't think their private evaluation is even half of Celestia's. And to my knowledge, like when I did that thread on them, like, dude, their evaluation right now is pretty much unicorn status, dude. Like, they're gonna be launching at almost $1 billion, and it's a knock on wood now because, like, you guys know, at the moment, given the current market conditions, a lot of these projects are being asked to reduce their evaluations by by a good amount.
Sorry, when you say they, what do you mean by they?
Like, they like the team, like, because before a project releases,
Yeah, but
They're
for what kind of project? What are you talking about? You talking about Celestia?
Oh yeah. I'm talking about Celestia. Like their current evaluation is at unicorn status, which is $1 billion. So that was pretty wild, man, to find out. I think their last round was like not even like 4 months ago, dude. And I know Alameda had a funding round. So like I said, like their current evaluation is a knock on wood, because you can be valued at like half a bill, right? But by the time you get close to the token generation event and all the vesting, is about to be put forth on the market, your evaluation can be cut in half by the time it's time to go to business. But that's just the way things work. Like sometimes, like the people that fund these projects, like they want their money back, and especially given what's been happening lately. It wouldn't shock me at all for like the Celestia evaluation to come near like what Payne says, 400 mil, because you're not going to launch at $1 billion during this
Yeah,
market
dude.
environment, dude. Absolutely not, man. Like I know, like dude, we're all bullish on Celestia, all of us, and like I fully believe that with what they're building, I think things like GameFi could actually come to fruition, right? Or like NFTs and DeFi mixing together. Now, how that looks like, I'm not sure, but it's definitely not on Ethereum. You guys remember last year we were all paying like, what was it, 800, 900, sometimes
Yeah. But I mean,
$1,100.
the reason people are paying high fees on ETH is because ETH is not supposed to be used. You're not supposed to use ETH. You're supposed to use an ETH rollup. And they all basically ETH fucked up because their rollups weren't ready for the bull market, right? So what should have happened is they should have had Arbitrum, Optimism, Metis. All of this stuff should have been working by the time we had this bull run, but they were lazy and the bull run was early and so on and so forth. Like if you use a roll up, you're still getting the same security as ETH. You're still paying fees in ETH, essentially, right? But you don't have the scaling problem. Like Arbitrum is cheap.
Yeah, it's super cheap. Using rollups has made me really bullish on ETH and just rollups in general. Like I've been messing around with a bunch of the perp platforms and stuff on Optimism, and like it's very smooth and it's really cool. Like it's really impressed me.
Dude,
right. I mean, if you're just like trading, coins, and you're trading on Ethereum, that's like how can I describe it? It'd be like if you went home and you wanted to play video games, you wanted to play some fucking Crisis or whatever, I don't know. But instead of going to your home PC, you go to your local university and you use their supercomputer. Then yeah, it's going to be expensive because you're playing computer games on a supercomputer, and that's kind of what, if there's an ordinary retail investor trading dog coins, they shouldn't really be doing it on Ethereum mainnet. They should be doing it on a roll up. And this whole like Celestia thing, it's the same thing, right? So, well, it's a bit different because they have data availability and execution separate, but like the idea is that blockchain is going to change so that there isn't just one place where everyone does everything. There are going to be a lot of these different places, and there's going to be a common consensus layer that it all kind of like, saves a checkpoint to, but you don't actually do everything on that common consensus layer. And I guess the thing with Celestia is consensus and execution get separated, but I mean, that's kind of a little bit hardcore tech.
I want to make a quick comment about that because I think he's hitting the nail on the head. But I think a reason we don't see people use roll-ups and L2s and cheaper solutions is just like a lack in like confidence in themselves and a lack of like marketing and outreach from like the community and the projects themselves, right? Like a lot of people probably don't know these things exist or how to use them, or like just write it off as too difficult or too elaborate. But like when me and you like get together and we do use it, or pretty much anyone uses it, like it's way smoother and simpler than we think. But there's like, with how technical the documents are and like how little, I don't know, like hand holding there is really in the DeFi community, I think it is hard for people to find like the best meta solution for money saving, efficiency, and stuff. I think a lot of it is like they learn one system, one chain, they pick their favorite, and they get stuck there. And I think that's a lot of crypto's problems, whether it's like a maxi community or someone spending too much in ETH gas because they don't want to use or learn any other chain. I don't really necessarily think like, I don't know. I think it's just a
I
I
problem.
think, dude, I think when it comes to like base money, I think Algorand is a pretty good chain for that, man. It's fast. It's never gone down. Um, I've had transactions go through in like literally 1 second from wallet to wallet, and you can hold USDT there and USDC. And so to my knowledge, they don't really have any of the shady actors that pretty much all the layer ones did. So
and
when it comes to like base money, you need like those boring boomer chains, bro. You can't hold something on Solana where like, dude, all of the people that have been building on there, they're all frothy, dude. Like I was on an NFT. I
Yeah,
was on an NFT space last night with Frank the Gods, and unfortunately, I can't repeat the words that I heard him say on the space because I don't want to promote any sort of vulgarity, but it's quite disgusting, dude. Like you
well,
need boomers, dude. You need that boomer chain when it comes
but
to
I also think
stables.
that like crypto needs to like separate the artist from the art in a way, right? Because like Luna and its collapse and what Duquan and their whole team did is obviously like horrendous, but also as far as like L1s and DeFi protocols go, that was probably the best to ever do it. They had the smoothest user experience, smoother, like that's what a lot of people need to like learn instead of brushing off these entire projects and communities and all this stuff is like, yeah, I mean they might fuck up here and there, but like there's also like still to this day from what I hear from like users in the community, Luna was one of the smoothest experiences and easiest to onboard.
They're the best. They're the best ever.
That's like people need to learn from that. Like you need to like
Yeah.
not just frame everything as that this protocol did as bad just because it ended horribly. Like a lot of what like builders in the space could learn from like how they build their protocols, like they should take a lot from Luna, just like don't lose everyone's money.
To their market fit, man. Like what's been said here, but I think like the one thing that's
It's like don't lose everyone's money.
to their market fit, man. Like what's been said here, but I think like the one thing that's being ignored by these protocols, they're not looking at their investors like customers. Like if someone is reaching out to a protocol here on Twitter and they take more than 2 days to respond, that's uncalled for, bro. Because you're holding people's money essentially that invested into you, and if you're not on spaces on a regular basis as a project, ultimately I think you're gonna fail because there's just not enough eyes in the space right now that every project has a limelight. So when you do have that chance that someone's reaching out to you, like, hey, I want to get to know what you guys are about. Are you guys doing a space soon? Can I get in contact with somebody from the team? And they just brush them off because they're not X and Y person, and that's ultimately why like a lot of these projects right now that still have money are just not going to make it to the other side once this bear market is over. But that's that's just me, man. But when it comes to Terra V2, I think Emergent would be more knowledgeable in what they're doing, to be frank, man. Emergence, or anything you want to say? I know you haven't had the chance to speak yet, brother. I'm sorry for that.
Uh, no, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it yet because most of it's still pretty under wraps. Like I know that they're porting a lot of the same protocols that were on the first version over, but they're also working on like a whole new set of products that they don't talk about that often. I do know that they kept most of their devs Not all of them, obviously, but then a lot of the others just went over to work on other projects on Cosmos, which should, all integrate back in with Terra anyways. So
Emergent.
I mean, it's definitely just something to keep an eye on.
Emergent. So what are some things that you're looking at the moment when it relates to projects for the tide of the next bull run, brother?
I really like things on Arbitrum for DeFi. So like things like DopeX, the options exchange, and the token hasn't launched yet, but there's a project called Y2K Finance that's up and running on Arbitrum, which is essentially like an insurance protocol for stable coins. Like, so you can hedge like USDT or DAI or whatever in case of a DPEG. So funds that have just like a massive amount of stable coins like sitting in their reserves will definitely want to be doing that. And I mean, they got like 10 million in TVL in like 1 week or something, and like nobody's really talking about them. So I think that's pretty impressive. And then, just like the standard things like Curve and those derivatives, especially the project Butterfly from Redacted.
I would like to double down on both of those. Those are both really like niche up and coming projects. I mean, not up and coming. DopeX is pretty huge, but Y2K, I know one of the devs over there. They've done like really fantastic stuff that's kind of just been like brushed under the rug with the crazy past few months that we've had. They're doing really cool stuff, like you said, with like companies that have large stablecoin reserves. I just want to double down. You should thank him for that alpha because both of those projects are killer right now and they're hard to find these days.
Yeah, and really like they haven't like officially launched the Y2K token, but there are still like a couple more chances to farm it by just using the protocol over the next couple of weeks. So
they're still admitting it, right?
Yep. And they haven't
Is it in testnet right now?
No, it's on mainnet.
It's on mainnet. Cool.
They're doing like a mission event, I believe, to like disperse the token right now to like early users.
The craziest thing to me was they launched like right before the FTX crash. And then so like a bunch of people just made insane amounts of money hedging USDT and MIM specifically, just like randomly.
We were working on building a strategy to use one of their features and building a whole separate protocol because it was so under wraps and they launched so much TVL right off the bat. But like we kind of tossed it to the side because it didn't pick up at the speed that like it didn't continue at that speed with all the craziness.
The one thing with TVL that concerns me, dude, is like a lot of these platforms they have such shitty token emissions. Just look at what happened to Stargate, dude. You're literally able to farm liquid money, man. And like the main purpose of the STG token when it comes to the community is literally like so left curve. Stake your STG, receive VE STG, and then do like the little missions when it comes to bridging to qualify for the layer 0 token. I think the ticker is going to be ZRO. And you're essentially like messing around with the layer 0 testnet that's not like full mainnet yet. And I believe Celestia and their native token TIA, TIA, they're going to have an incentivized testnet coming in Q2 of next year. And like to me, the super left curve take on Celestia is, all right, I get to run back the Matic play. What Celestia is to Cosmos is basically the same importance as Matic to Ethereum. Super left curve. No need to be big brained about it. It's. I think it's honestly for next year, the second half of 2023. It's gonna be the play of all plays, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I just don't see it launching at $1 billion valuation, dude.
Me neither, dude.
No way,
There's no
bro.
way.
Absolutely not. Because, dude, like Alameda did fund some of the products coming out, and what I think is going to happen is a lot of the people that got into these rounds are going to pull out just out of fear, even though like they know that the project is probably going to do some multiples, and they're willing to take that haircut. You know what I'm
And if
saying?
they don't pull out, they're going to do like what I was talking to you about, where they just cooperate to get the evaluation to be launched at a lower market cap. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, if they like, if you have VC1 and VC2 that are both in a round, and then post FTX, they're saying, look, you know, we'll still put up our 20 million each, but we want 20% of this instead of 10% now each, or whatever it may be. So I think the whole FTX thing could actually be a good
It
for
it,
retail
it,
and good for us as far
it,
as evaluations go.
it eliminates the goblin, dude. Like they were so predatory. Just look at FTX perps. Anytime they listed something, it was just down only, dude. You know.
I have something
S-
really interesting about the FTX thing being good for retail. I found this guy was able to like find um a edge with the like perps tokens on FTX. Know how they like the bull and bear tokens? He found out that they were like sophistically like pumping them up like themselves, and then they would refill it at the same time every day.
yeah, that
And
was our boy Abrams. He
yeah,
runs a fund
bro, this
over in
strategy is
Australia.
big brained. It was so big brained they bricked his account, bro. He made 2,000% spot with free 20x leverage because he caught them cheating, and then they
Yeah,
bricked his
dude.
account. If you guys want to read about like a really cool trading story about how this kid like founded a team to like exploit FTX cheating with all their like illegal bullshit, this dude made a lot of money with his friends with like no risk on like 20x leverage. It's fucking goated with the sauce stuff. I
Yeah,
just put it on the
yeah.
jumbotron.
20. That's the 20x one. I have no idea, bro.
Bro, he had for months on chain like
Dude.
Excel sheets showing that they were like doing crimes and stuff, but like he didn't want to like make a thread because they were just drowning him in free money.
So
He
so
didn't want
so
to
so
expose it,
Connor.
but he's like, yo, I knew Almeida and other shit. Like they knew all this stuff, but the people who knew, they were just catching free edge.
So Connor, like, what are some things that you're looking for in this bear market for a project that could potentially outperform majors in the next bull run? Like, I'm talking like tokenomics. I'm talking team. What's your general criteria? Like, what is it that you're looking for in a team at the
I
current moment?
I think with a lot, well, that's two really good questions. What I'm looking for in a team and what I'm looking for in projects is kind of two different things. Um, what I'm looking for in well, not what I'm looking for, but like things that I think will like do well and like the market will like lean towards, or like a lot of things that like broke in the crash. Like there's kind of missing 10 to 60% yield on mainnet on ETH right now. There's kind of missing delta neutral strategy, especially with like ETH and stuff. So I think a lot of like sustainable medium to like low yield projects, we'll see a lot of those, and just like more like I think people take I think the genie's kind of out of the bottle on a lot of like the foundation of DeFi lending markets, algo stable coins. Like there's projects like Liquidity. They have a really cool new way to like peg and run a whole new DeFi ecosystem. Like there's people, the genie's out of the bottle. People are going to generate yield on their own. I think we're going to see a lot more cool trustless systems that are gifted. Like that's way better than the 10% on FTX, and you don't know where the fuck it's coming from. So I think things like that, and then uh, like for example, things I'd be looking for in teams. I think small teams that have been in the space like for a long time. I think anon teams are definitely like always gonna. They're building the best stuff. Like a lot of the most sophisticated stuff is still being built by anon teams, but it's hard to get that like big adoption and stuff. So I would recommend having if at least like one or two doxed team members to just like because there's going to be a lot of like lack of trust this next cycle, you know. So I think anon teams, even though it's been accepted and right, and I think the should continue in the space going forward. I think having some sort of docs representative, which would be difficult depending on how anon you want the team to actually be in the project to actually be, depending on how deep you're going in the build space. But just like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of a ramble here. I'm not, hopefully I answered the question.
You're
I
good,
put
man.
some
You're
points.
good.
But like, yeah, I think trustless systems and teams that people can feel like they can like trust, that have been in the space a while, that like the community backs, and like ideas the community backs, like nothing crazy. And just think we'll see like a shift away from the centralized space and people just offering yield and trading platforms that have deep liquidity, probably using like V3 technology to like have deeper liquidity, like a centralized exchange, and just move away from a centralized system as long as the regulation allows us to still have this like cool playground to build in. But hopefully we don't get too much handcuffs put on us. But like that would, I guess, be my vision. I don't want to take too much time, but if anyone has questions about that,
It's fine, man, dude. You're doing good, man. You're doing good. That was a great answer. As far as like stable coins go, I know Hedera is working with the CTO of the Digital Commodities Exchange to bridge the gap between like real assets and tokenized financial assets, and how people can earn yield on that. And essentially, the team that's building their stablecoin is going to have a full 24/7 oracle that investors can look at, so they know like what is backing that stablecoin. Because with things like Tether, like yeah, we know that there is some fiat in there, but what about like the fluctuations that backs each USDT? Like how does that look like? How does that value fluctuate quarter to quarter? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if they sell some of those assets and they swap it for another? Like, there's not enough transparency when it comes to stable coins. And like, I do believe there has to be some sort of like decentralization to it. And it's still very early in the stable coin game. So go
I
ahead.
think not yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think stable coins probably start to slow off in creation. I think we probably have some of the original foundation, besides like further decentralized stable coins. I think more of what we'll probably see in the future would be like alternative reserve currencies ish, and like ohm forks, or like different variations of like ohm forks and stuff like that, I think. Or just like YFI type stuff, like just people like letting you have vaults to deposit into that move your money around to earn yield, but using like, I don't know, more delta neutral strategies, because I think a lot of the risk is going to want out of the system, and to bring it back in and get some of the liquidity back in, I think they're going to see a lot of the build space shift towards delta neutral, because I think the macro is kind of going a little bit risk off, and like from what I'm seeing in the build space, like a lot of the VCs and LPs and shit like are, the money's drying up. Like no one has like appetite to like gamble on projects like they used to, like even like a few months ago. So I think unless you can promise them and show them you have like a risk-free project that still does its thing, I think people are going to have quite a hard time like getting people to back new stable coins, or back new like whole new whole new like innovations. I think it would just be re-innovations, or like forks of the same thing with like transparent trading strategies or yield strategies, and just give people, I don't know, somewhat money back on their yields, so they don't like get fucked during the next coming months to years with the macro economy.
To add
Go
on to
ahead,
that,
Brandon.
Connor, I think that like basically this kind of reinforces what I was thinking, as far as I think next cycle, real revenue from protocols is going to be a big narrative. And we kind of already saw it with GMX, but I think protocols like Aave, GMX, ENS, any
Dude, I
protocol
think
that's like
Aave is gonna
acts.
kill it, bro. They're gonna
No,
absolutely
yeah,
kill
dude,
it
that was one
with
of the
their
first things I was talking to you about,
dude.
bro. That
Like,
dude, there's
like,
nowhere else. There's no other playground that people can go to, dude. Like
dude,
what?
their
Where
snap,
else?
I think it's all going to be lending markets, GMX forks,
dude,
like
they're
it's all going to be different variations of that can support larger and larger liquidities that have more and more transparency, and just like more and more active like liquidations and offers. And I don't know, I think we'll see a lot more of that space either grow or fork, or just like eventually people capitulate even into just Aave itself, because there's nowhere else to get fucking money that's like not setting your cash on fire, you know?
Yeah.
and
I
I think
mean,
I believe
GMX is brilliant because it pays you in ETH. You know, I think there's and like there's a lot of forks that are actually raising just like that are literally unapologetic GMX forks, and they're getting funding still because it's like it's honestly like the perfect model, dude. I mean,
Yeah, it's one of the
traders are always getting liquidated, and so you know that that's real yield that's coming from. It's not just like some arbitrary fake, fake yield. It's actually coming from fees on the platform, and I think that savvy devs are paying attention to this, and they're going to hopefully incorporate new projects that come along that are actually giving you like whether it be transaction fees or just different ways that you can actually provide yield to stakers that isn't just new money coming in necessarily.
Exactly. GMX has been a significantly huge shift in the DeFi space of like forcing people to actually come up with like revenue stream and stuff, and not just like dumping tokens on people or having new people buy and stuff like that. I think a lot of it's really an underestimated kind of shift in the vision of like the dev and DeFi space. I think we'll see here in the next, like, I don't know, probably cycle.
Guys, so for those of you that don't know, Aave is a lending market that essentially connects borrowers and lenders in a decentralized and anonymous way. And they used to be called ETHLend, but Aave, as you know it, started off in about like late 2019, early 2020, and it's pretty crucial to the DeFi ecosystem. I believe their TVL accounts for 20% of DeFi across all chains, and the loans on Aave are over collateralized. So, like everyone knows, you can't borrow more than you deposit. But if you guys looked at that voting snapshot uh, with what they're going to do with GHO, which is their stable coin, and Metis, you'll see that give me 1 second, guys.
Hey everyone, I'll step in here. To piggyback off of, I'm a Terra person. I was, yes. So there's a couple,
Many of us were.
I know, yes. I have connections to Chris Armani, and we are going to try to be doing more spaces with TFL, more TFL representation, try to get more of the projects talking about. I think we're just kind of quietly creeping in, and we've been, with the help of Coach Bruce and Seppi starting, and all, of course, of all the news coming out about the potentiality of SBF taking down Terra, has felt us like gain an edge potentially to come out and talk more about these projects. So two new ones that are coming out or are already. One of them is Enterprise, which is a way you can anyone can create a DAO really easily. Like me and my friends created a DAO for a small investment group, so we can all pool money together to go invest in, let's say, like private seed rounds and stuff like that. Because if you have those connections and stuff like that, but two, anyone can do, and the tools are really nice to use. And then two is Warp Protocol, which is a new grid bot protocol where we hope to some of the NFT spaces are there to help guide newcomers to learn how to use grid bots. But that will be developing over the next couple months. And grid bots is a great way to earn yield, not using like your standard DeFi. I think I don't know if you've ever had Sephi in here talk about it, but it's a good way to gain yield in a little bit of a different fashion. So, and then lastly, coins I'm looking for is similar to what Feels Pain was talking about, is those that are revenue driving assets such as like GMX, right? I have a couple scary, like a couple hesitations with GMX, but anyway, just really diving in and going into the maybe more subtle, let's see, analytics behind how much protocols are making, and then also what they're emitting if they are a staking protocol as well. So, and trying to find that balance. So yeah. Anyway, Wabi.
Yeah, sorry guys. I
Yeah.
had to stop. I had to stop mid sentence because we are approaching that 1 hour mark. So I had to reach out to our producer. So sorry about that, guys. But I know I was going on my usual banter about Aave, but I'll just end it off by saying like they also have a pretty significant treasury. I know we were talking about their TVL. They have over 9 figures in their treasury, and their security auditors are among the strongest in the space. So I think like when it comes to ETH2s, like what Naka was saying earlier, I think they're going to be among the best. And I think once like the Arbitrum token comes out, I think you'll be able to do some cool stuff with the ARB token and the GHO stablecoin. Potentially some juicy rewards on farms. You know, I wonder how that's going to look like. Because I don't really think regulation is just going to step in out of nowhere, dude. Honestly, I think next summer we can be, on a pathway to DeFi Summer 2.0, and I believe around that time frame, I believe Layer Zero is going to come out with their ZRO token, and that we have RB. I think we have some pretty cool stuff, especially with Alameda out of the picture, not acting as vampires. I think we have something cool going on. New bro, if you want to say anything, dude, feel free, man. I know you've been looking at some stuff as well, brother. Feel free.
Yeah, man. I think Layer Zero is going to be a big game changer because I don't necessarily think, like Connor was saying earlier, that there's like a big learning gap. But then I agree with that. But then I also consider how many people like like literally bridged to BNB to buy Safe Moon and bridged to AVAX to buy Time Wonderland and all that shit last year, and it just kind of makes me more optimistic. Like if people really want to, like if it gets frothy again and people really want to use DeFi, like they're gonna figure it out. And I think if Layer Zero makes that easier, it'll be a really big game changer because I mean, dude, that's like one of the biggest problems is like there's liquidity in all these different places. It's all segregated and it's kind of hard to like not only get a picture of like how much real liquidity is there, but it's tough to figure out like, you know, oh, like if I have assets on Solana, how do I get it to AVAX? I got to go through this sketchy ass bridge, you know. And so if they can really figure out a way to like just make one big pool for like multiple chains, dude, that's gonna be huge. And if it launches really at like if it launches like 200 to 300 million, I mean that might be a bit hopeful, but I definitely don't think it'll be anywhere near a billion. And that's something that could like really, really be like a game changer. Like that's something I could see like that is potentially could be as big as Ave, honestly.
Yeah, I think what Avi wants to do as well with GHO is essentially be like a low yield of Anchor, because essentially like with their token, their stable token, you'll be able to earn yield based on the collateral that you put in the system. And given that Aave is planning to go like interoperable, I think with something with Layer Zero as far as partnerships is concerned, I'm sure they have something in the works, man. So have you been looking at any NFTs at the moment? I know we haven't even touched on NFTs, dude, at all. I know I haven't, dude, but like, given that you do have some NFT experience, like, what are some things that could potentially kick that sector off for the next run? Because when people say like, "Oh, NFTs with utility," like, what exactly does that mean outside of being a community member and you enter a raffle for a t-shirt or some tickets to see a game?
Yeah, to be honest, man, like it's pretty dead right now because a lot of the ones that like in a bull market, the thing that's different is like in a bull market, you can have an NFT project that really runs and it doesn't necessarily need VC funding. But in a bear market, like you really kind of need that if you're gonna get to like these really high floor prices. And so there isn't too much shit being funded right now. But like there's a couple projects that I'm bullish on. Like one of them is the Sappy Seals. I'm actually really bullish on because they basically like what I've learned is that you just don't fade Colts, bro. So like anytime you see like the really like a really active community and they're like constantly engaged and like they have hella people repping their shit, I really wouldn't fade it if they're consistent. And so like the Sappy Seals is one, and then honestly, dude, the ENS digits are another one. I think those are gonna run really hard because I mean they ran up to like 10K USD earlier this year, and and I think now they're like 1 point something ETH. But I like those a lot because they basically like have no promises and it's like a side flex. So a lot of people will have their PFP that's a flex, but then they'll have like their digit and their username too. So it's like, oh yeah, there's a here's my cool PFP that's worth like 5 grand, and then here's my I also have 211.eth or whatever. And there was kind of a narrative where big accounts were trying to get the digit that like matched their base C or like their punk or whatever. So like you have punk 2043 and then it's like a big flex if you have the punk and you have the matching digit for the ENS digit. And then like the team never really promised anything. They kind of just minted out and it was like super organic. And so I think those are going to run really hard next cycle. But those are two projects I'm accumulating. But yeah, I'm waiting to see if like I think that like it looks like activity on like other chains is picking up too. And so I need to look into that more outside of like Solana and stuff. It seems like Cardano actually has a decent NFT scene and it looks like Algorand is like kind of building up too. So I need to just like going on that side of Twitter is pretty cool sometimes. You get to see like a whole different side of CT.
Yeah, I know Cardano has some like GameFi stuff, and they've managed to capture like the weeaboo and like anime community. There's some project called Ninjas, I believe, and they have like comic strips and they're building a little game. But the thing is, it's like when these projects say, "Oh, we're gonna have utility," it's like you have to at least tell us so we can picture how it looks like. And I still have yet to see it, dude. So I think for now NFTs are, like you said, a cult, and it's essentially an extremely low cap altcoin, but you're essentially throwing a dice to see, all right, is my token going to be selected, right, for the raffle? Is someone going to give me their ETH, right? Unlike a token where even if like even if there are no buyers for your token on a centralized exchange, you easily could just go to a different exchange or go to like a DeFi swap,
What's
whatever.
interesting is like Uniswap actually just dropped like one thing that I'm seeing develop is like liquidity pools for NFTs. So
How does that work, dude? Because like, dude, the floor, the whole like floor thing, it's so manipulated, bro. So manipulated. Like, dude, I've been seeing. You remember in 2020 how there was like food DeFi, like yams,
yeah, of
right?
course.
And like potato or whatever. And like that's what I'm
All
saying
the
with
shit on Yearn Finance.
dude, and that's what I'm saying with like NFTs right now, bro. And like they're cults, bro. Like of course they're cults. When you go inside their spaces, all they're talking about is is vulgarity. And sure, like, it's short-term bullish, but if you go in there and quote unquote sweep the floor and you get like 10% of the supply, what are you going to make, dude? Like, these floors are like 0.001 ETH. What do you make in total? $20, $30? Look at me, bro. Right? My floor on Sol went from 0.5 Sol to 0.8, and I sold like 2 PFPs. It's not very lucrative, dude. So it's sort of like,
Yeah,
dude,
I hear you. I hear you, but like you obviously like it's hard to go and stuff with size, but like I don't know, like over like a long period of time, like you can definitely like make money. Like if you went in and like bought like another project that I'm pretty bullish on actually is the Pudgy Penguins, and that's because they had their whole team like they essentially sold the project earlier because their first founder wasn't really doing too much, and so they sold it to another guy. I believe his name is Lucas, and he's a really like built multiple businesses and sold them to like Amazon. He was like early on the Ring team and like a bunch of different things that he's built, and he actually onboarded a bunch of people from like different celebrities to like people from Meta that do marketing, people from Hasbro, and they're launching like plush toys, just a bunch of cool shit like that, trying to do like a TV show, and um, yeah, dude, those things are probably gonna rip in a bull market, and especially the projects that like launched last year that are still around and still doing stuff. Uh, there's not too many of them, and so like I think stuff like the Sappy Seals and the Pudgy Penguins are probably gonna do pretty good. Um,
you want to know what I'm not really bullish on, dude? BTC DeFi. The only products out right now is Sovereign, Stacks, and BitTensor. But the
I'm
thing
not
is,
bullish on BTC DeFi
I'm not, dude. I'm not, dude. Like,
because the
when we
maxis hate it so much
not, dude.
fundamentally.
Not only that, dude, but like,
They don't support
how
anything that's built on it.
like how is it gonna work on chain, dude? Like, we're all gonna have 0.25 BTC using on liquidity pools, bro, copy and pasting ETH. you know it's like they're essentially calling Ethereum a scam, but yet now they're saying, oh, but we have DeFi as well. But if you take a look at Xenon Network, which is really the closest thing that we have to a proof of work chain, um, trying to do DeFi, and like, to my knowledge, I remember them getting rugged last year, and they had to do like that relaunch over on BSC, and that was pretty sad. So not sure how many devs are working on it either, dude.
Yeah, because like, what's the incentive, bro? Like, literally, you have half the community immediately segregated, like, because half of the BTC people just like literally hate anything built on it. Like, so many of them are calling Lightning a scam and shit, and it's like, bro, if you can't even like get people to build a faster way to send BTC, how the fuck are you gonna incentivize people to build DeFi on it? Like, I just think that if you're a dev coming into the scene, like there's literally zero incentive to build on BTC, and I think saying that they even have DeFi at all is a huge cop out because it's like I don't know. I feel like that's just like slightly like almost cope from them. I mean, I'm still bullish on BTC for like the reasons that people have been bullish on forever, but man, I don't think that.
Oh, I see we have Brandon in here. Brandon, if you want to come up, feel free, man. But with that being said, guys, sorry that the space is rugged a bit earlier. I know there was a flow of conversation going on, and some of the people that we had up here had to go do some things in real life. So it was great hanging with you guys here in the metaverse, talking altcoins and things that we're looking at for the next cycle. It was a pleasure to have you guys up here. Shout out to all our BB Chads. And again, if you're listening on YouTube, be sure to like, comment with some feedback, and subscribe. And also, if you're here on Twitter Spaces, feel free to join us up on our Discord. I'm there pretty actively every day. You can always find me in the voice chat. And, I love interacting with you guys. And yeah, be sure to follow us here on Twitter at Because Bitcoin. And I'm your host, King Wabi the First, coming live to you, presenting Crypto World Radio. And a special announcement on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be hosting Neutron, which is building the DeFi hub on Cosmos. So definitely look forward to that. And it was an honor and a pleasure hosting you all. Thank you all so much for the feedback that you've all given me. It was great discussing NFTs with you guys. It was great discussing DeFi. It was great discussing things from the prior cycle. Thank you all for being so enthusiastic with what I'm trying to do here and trying to, build a small community here over at Because Bitcoin. And, we've got so far over 800 members on the Discord. And it's always a pleasure to connect with you guys. And I hope to produce more value over the coming years for y'all. So thank you, everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Catch you later. King Wabi out. Thanks all.